What's up, guys? It's your boy Mayhem. Today we got Bryce Villeroel. He is a class of 2027, 6'1", 290 pounds. He has a 5'2" 40 time. He's offensive lineman, second team all region offensive lineman. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really
I'm doing
good. So
great.
So today I got another guest, Christian Ballard of Ballard Sports Media. He's also has a YouTube channel. Please go check him out. Give him a like and subscribe. With that being said, Bryce, we're here for you. You're the man of the show. Tell us about yourself.
So I haven't been in football since I was like really young. I did a couple of flag football leagues when I was around 9 or 10. My football career didn't really pick up till freshman year, where I was playing at a bigger school. We had a lot of like really good guys, D1, and I kind of just fell in love with it. I fell in love with playing tackle football, playing offensive line, and it's really just grown from there. It's taken off. So it's a vocal part of my life. I've really incorporated into a lot of things I do, and a lot of things I do are for football. So really, I have such a passion for the game, and always looking for something to elevate my game or elevate myself.
Yeah, Bryce, it's good to talk with you, man, and love the sport of football, and love getting to talk to different high school players out there, different athletes. I always got to ask, who got you into football? Was it something maybe with your parents? Was it family relations? Was it maybe someone you watched growing up? And then why offensive line?
Really, nobody ever really pushed me to play sports, so it's always been me pushing myself, me putting myself out there to play sports. I've played a lot of different sports throughout my life. Football is kind of really the only one that's sticking out. But I I fought with my parents to let me play. They were a little hesitant at first because of all the contact. They hear about concussions all the time and bad injuries. So it was a push to get them to let me play football, but they're really supportive of me now. So I'd say really just myself, pushing me academically, athletically to play football. And then, like you asked, offensive line. I've never really been on the smaller side of things. So going into freshman year, looking at positions and stuff, I was already a pretty big boy. So offensive line kind of stuck out. I started at tackle for my freshman team. Didn't really have the measurables to play tackle, especially at the level I was playing at. So I got moved to interior, which I just love interior line. It's brutal, it's fast, and that's kind of why I love playing offensive line now. It's just being able to, you know, assert your will on those guys in the trenches. It's a great feeling.
I've interviewed some offensive line and defensive linemen, and they always said that they love being on the offense and defensive line because it's very physical. And I get the same notation from you. You just said that you love being in the trenches because you can assert your will on the other players. Do you have any interest right now from any colleges or offers?
Currently, I don't have any offers. I've been in contact with a couple coaches from some more minor schools like Lake Forest and Carrollton, but recruiting hasn't taken off yet.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in that area. And then when you look at today's world of collegiate athletics, there's all this talk about the portal, there's all this talk about NIL and everything. I got to know not necessarily how you feel about it, but you're fixing to in a year or two down the road, you're going to step into that world, Bryce, and how do you plan to manage all of that?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely taken off, especially in the past 2 years. Um, really, like NIL is a big thing in college football now, and honestly, I just have such a love for the game. If I get to a point where I have people reaching out to me for NIL opportunities, of course I'll accept that with open arms. But I'm not I'm not trying to play football to be compensated for it. The joy I get from playing it is compensation enough. And, navigating high school recruiting the next couple of years is definitely going to be difficult with, all these players getting cut from their teams with the roster changes, moving down divisions, and the new JUCO rules. It's gonna be difficult, but I know that I have faith in my play and my ability to be seen. So I know that I'll end up in the right place for me.
For sure. Whenever you talk about ending up at the right place for you, can you tell us what that looks like?
So the right place for me, really, in my sense, is somewhere that wants me to come play for them. A lot of times coaches will send out automated messages or camp invites to a whole bunch of players, but those don't really stick out because it's automated. You and like maybe 40 other guys are getting the same exact message. So really for me, any school that's like reaching out to me consistently, I have a good relationship with them. And then another important thing is just the culture of the team I go to. College ball, all the guys that are playing there, they want to be there and they know that they have to compete to be there. So I really look forward to that because, to be the best, you got to be able to compete with the best, and competing with the best will make you your best. So.
For sure. Talk to me about just in your football career. I don't have your coach's name. So could you share a little bit about your coach and maybe what he's meant to you?
So I've had 3 high school coaches so far. My high school career. I know I'm just a sophomore, but this past year we had a coach. His name was Lauren Dawson. He coached at a college in Phoenix for a while, and he took the job at my school now, ALA Ironwood, and he really elevated that program. He took a 2-8 team to the playoffs in his first year, and then the very next year he took them back to the playoffs with an 8-2 record, which was the year that I came to the school and played with them. So the culture he just inflicted on me last year, really, it changed me as a person and it changed me as a player. And he's moved on to a different program now that's closer to his home and more convenient for him. But he's really inflicted a culture of being my best on my life. And now going into this next year, our past defensive coordinator, he was elevated to the spot of head coach. His name's Myron Bluford. He, in most recent years, he started the school Arizona College Prep. They elevated from 2A, I think maybe 3A, and now they're all the way up in 5A, competing with some of the best schools in the state. And he realized it was time to move on. He came to Ironwood, and he's giving us a chance. He's giving us a shot, and he hasn't been our head coach for a while yet, but he's already instilling those things in us to be our best. He's instilling those things for us to be able to compete this year, and I just have faith in his coaching ability, and I know we're going to go far this year with him.
Awesome.
For sure. So you still have a couple more years before you get to college and all that stuff. Class of 2027. So there's always room for improvement. So what are some things that you say, hey, for next year I'm gonna work on this, and what are some things that you say, hey, I'm pretty freaking good at?
So there's a lot of things I can work on. I'd say probably my biggest weakness is probably my size. I'm pretty big at 6'1", 290, but there's all these other guys that are like 6'4", 290 or 6'7", 290. And so I can't really change that, but it kind of motivates me to work on all my other weaknesses, which are some of the things I'm really honing in on right now, or my footwork, because you gotta have some of the best footwork on the field in the trenches. That's without a doubt. But then also, I really just want to work on my speed and explosiveness off the ball, being able to, punch into that defensive lineman in front of me, or even working up to the second level and, clearing out that linebacker for my running back. So I want to work on that going into the season. But also, I have a lot of strengths about me. Being on the smaller side, I need to be strong. And currently, I'm strongest player in our football program, probably one of the strongest players in our division, and I really take pride in that. And with that going, I never take it for granted. I'm always in the weight room trying to get better, trying to get stronger. I just got back from the gym. That's why I'm in my car. But yeah, I'd say that's probably my biggest strength.
For sure.
I gotta ask. I know you still got a couple years left of high school ball and everything, but you have had a couple under your belt. Um, Have you had that moment yet on the field where, because like I know they always want to ask the quarterback, "Hey, what'd you see on that throw or that run?" And then they want to ask that to the wide receivers and the running backs. What'd you see on that play? The big moments. Have you had a big moment on the field yet as an offensive lineman? And what's that like where you say something maybe like, "You know what? I really made a good block there and I helped this team a little bit." Like, have you had a light bulb moment where like you knew that you did a good job on the field?
I've actually had a couple, and you know, if we look at my film, we'll see them eventually. But my first actual game as a varsity football player, actually, uh, pretty sure it was end of first quarter. We were driving down the field. We had a all region, all state running back in our backfield. He's just a dog. His name's Aiden Williams, and I was blocking for him, and my tackle.
He was blocking his defensive end, and his defensive end slipped on the inside. So I was at guard at the time, so I had to pick him up while I was already blocking my guy. And so I was driving both of them down, trying to open that gap for our running back. And, not to brag or anything, but I love pancaking defensive linemen. So I threw
Yeah.
them into each other. They both went down, and then, a backer he saw me with both of them. He was trying to take advantage of that and try to run by me. And I kind of threw those two down, and then I grabbed the linebacker and I threw him down with them. So at first I thought it was only two pancakes on the play, which is still kind of cool to get two pancakes on one play. And I went back to the sidelines because we scored after that. I looked at my coach and he was like trying to point out to me that I pancaked three defenders at once. And I couldn't believe it. It was my first game as a varsity football player. So it was great.
For
That
sure.
sounds amazing. 3 guys at one time, you said?
Yeah.
So,
Dude.
do you have a football player? Do you have a favorite football player? And did you who do you pattern yourself after?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to say Larry Allen here. He's just
Ooh.
he's brutal in the trenches. He's so strong. He's the type of aggression I always want to play with. So I really look up to him. But also with that, I also really look up to Jason Kelsey. He's undersized like me.
Yes.
He's still one of the probably top offensive linemen I'd say in the entire history of the NFL. And just like his smarts when he played on the field was incredible. And the way he was able to leverage, the defenders that he was blocking, it's just incredible to watch.
For sure. So, do you want to go ahead and take a look at the film
Yeah.
and break that down with us?
Yeah, I'd love to. All right, so this is the play I just told you guys about. It's got to be first on my highlight reel. There's no other place I'd put it in my highlight reel. So you'll see here the three defenders, and I'm pretty sure it was a linebacker trying to sneak by. So
Okay. Well, I got to see this in person for myself here. Helmets came off, man.
oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that my helmet came off during.
Was that your helmet? Was that you?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the one we just kind of talked about. Are you ready to kind of get into maybe what this next one could be?
Yeah. This one, this is a pass pro play. I was blocking my guy, and he tried to cut inside. I felt his leverage going inside, so I kind of just drove with him, and it ended up working out perfectly because someone slipped past one of the other offensive linemen, so I kind of took them both out, keeping the quarterback safe, giving him some time. So
Okay, let's see it. Oh, nice.
So this was our first round of playoffs, first ever playoff game for me. So it's a special game for me. These are some big boys, big strong boys from up north. They they're really aggressive on the field, and it was kind of starting to upset me because they were trying to talk some trash to me, and nobody got past me all night, and so I think I just really got fired up this play, and I was down blocking on him, and he tried to slip off of me, and I pulled him back in by his jersey and then threw him. So that's why he's on the ground right now.
Okay. This is aerial footage here, so
Yeah,
what do we have?
This is one of my pools. I wouldn't say it's the prettiest. I probably could have done better, just leveraging my inside shoulder with his outside.
Was that
But
you? Was that you that moved at the top left there?
yeah, I was making sure he wouldn't
You
get
were the
back
one
up.
kind of wrestling him to the ground there and tried to make
Yeah,
sure he stayed down. I
he was
like
my
that.
guy. I wasn't letting him go
Yeah,
anywhere.
I got you, man. I don't blame you.
So
That was pretty cool. This
yeah,
looks great.
I love pancaking people.
Yeah.
This right here, it's another down block. Really, just me trying to work that angle, making sure he doesn't slip off. You'll see a lot of these are going to be pancake blocks, just because of how good these are. This was me trying to seal off the edge, so
Mhm.
I'm trying to make sure he doesn't spin inside and mess up our gap scheme, mess up the gap our running back's trying to run through. So I had to shift my body so he couldn't get around me, and the only way to get around me is if he went through me, which nobody's done that yet. So kind of just throw him to the ground there. This is a good play. Blocking. I see the linebacker zoning in on our running back, so I just go up there with our running back and make sure he gets in the end zone. Another double pancake. I will say it was an assist from the running back. This is another pool. This is against he's a top defensive lineman in the state. Kind of just put him on his butt. It was earlier in the season, so I felt pretty good about that play. Kind of knocked the wind out of me, though. He's a pretty solid dude.
Yeah.
This is another really good pool. Maybe shouldn't have dived on him at the end. The refs kind of started talking to me about that, but just don't get on the ground.
The last guy that I interviewed, he also talked about that, the aggressiveness,
Yeah.
You said that you dove on him, and the refs kind of talked to you about that. The last guy also mentioned that as well. So, y'all have something really in common. Y'all both very physical, and I really like that whenever I'm looking for an offensive lineman. And, if I was a coach looking for offensive lineman, I'm looking for the physicality. That's the very first thing I'm looking for, because if you ain't got no physicality and you soft as tissue, then I mean you ain't gonna be on my team. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like I really like the physicality that you bring to the table, and I also love, listen, my favorite meal for breakfast is pancakes. So I really love that too. I love whenever you bring the energy and you bring the physicality, and I love, and look, who doesn't love a good pancake?
Right.
I haven't met anybody yet.
You gotta love pancakes with a little bit of maple syrup, man. Hey, I gotta ask real quick. So I don't know if I've ever asked offensive lineman this, and I've actually talked to a couple, but so when it comes to going on the next level, when you get to college and stuff, and you got to be careful of the holding calls, really, how difficult is that? Because you're getting your hands up there, man. You're trying to wrestle these guys to the ground. You don't want to sling them. You don't want to get too rough. You don't want to get a holding call and stuff. How hard is all that for an O lineman?
Well, if you talk to any, notable or good offensive line coach, he's going to tell you that, if you're not holding on the team, he doesn't want you. There's an art to it. There's not a single offensive lineman you meet. If he tells you that he doesn't hold, he's lying. He's lying out his mouth. So I'm guilty of it too. It's just there's an art to it. You have to, if you're gonna hold, you have to have them up close to you so the refs can't see it. And a lot of times I see guys, I do it sometimes too, where you catch yourself holding and like somebody would have seen it and you throw your hands up instantly after. Don't do that. The refs see that and they immediately think you did something wrong. It's like they caught you with your hand in a cookie jar. So I'd say
Well-
it comes with time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as the great Kenny Rogers said, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, man. So
Yeah.
just be careful out there with that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, let's keep watching some film. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
So this play, someone came around. He's trying to hit our quarterback. I saw it. I didn't have anybody, so I kind of came back and hit him. You have a quarterback time. I just dogged this dude. He couldn't do anything. Kind of took him all the way to the end zone. You won't see a lot of pancakes on pass pro, but if you can leverage it right, it's a beautiful thing. I like this play. I opened up a great gap. I do need to work on, not diving on top of him as much. I could have picked up the next defender, but it's always things we can work on. Kind of just more thrown to the ground. This
sure
is a small
sometimes-
linebacker.
Yeah, I'm sure sometimes you mentioned the diving part. Sometimes I'm sure you just kind of trip over them. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah. Well, this one here, I get mad at myself every time I watch it. I pull, the guy crashes inside. I take another guy, I pancake him, and I get so excited, dive on him. I could have picked up the next guy.
Yeah.
There's another, just staying with the guy. This one is like a WWE match right here. I pick him up and we go to the ground.
Yeah, I love a good
You
old
roll all
yeah.
over them.
This, my footwork could always be better, but I like how I stayed with the guy. So we were a very heavy counter team. So, any pass pro plays I could get, they're in here. This was a buck sweep. I laid out some poor safety.
I like that. That was good. I like that one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Some
Another
poor
pool.
safety.
I mean, he was small, but
Yeah.
he's safety. So,
Is your
fortunate up to
so
linebackers.
keep me updated. Do you always wear the same number? You're 71 every single play.
Yeah, 71 every play. I didn't switch during the
Okay.
season.
I got you.
Oh, I remember this game. It was a rough game. We kind of went into the game thinking, they weren't that good, but they put up a fight. I think we scored 100 points together total. So
Oh, wow.
it was a fight. I love this game. This one, the backer blitz, I saw it right before the snap. I kind of picked him up, took him with me. We ended up scoring. This one, just working up to the backer level. I take pride in that, working up to the backer level, being able to neutralize those linebackers because, they can really put you in a spot if they're good.
Who would you say, real quick, what's the toughest D lineman that you've had to go up against so far?
D lineman, I didn't really it wasn't a head-on match. I'd face him every so often, but he goes to Gilbert Christian. His name's Hyatt Lang. He actually just picked up his first couple offers yesterday, I think. He's a great guy, but he's a dog. He's probably, I think he's 6'3", 220 pounds of just lean muscle. He's got a solid frame. So, whamming on him or pulling on him, it was hard because, he was tall. It was hard to leverage my weight against his. He had great pad level. He's 3 times all-state defensive player. So he's just a dog. He's going to go places. I know he will. And, he was a junior this year, so I really look forward to playing him again this year. So I'd say probably him.
For sure. Look, I was pleasantly surprised on your tape. Whenever I do these interviews, I don't watch the tape before because I want to have genuine reactions like I just did a few moments ago. I want to have them reactions, and if I watch the tape before, I'm not going to have them reactions, right? I want to get on my YouTube channel. I want to get all the reactions, all the live reactions that I can. And man, I was really, really surprised from what I saw today. You are very talented. You're extremely talented, and you said that he's going to go places. You're also going to go places as well. and and I believe in you for sure.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead and finish real quick.
I was just gonna say I really believe in myself. I know I'll be able to go places if I keep at it. I have a great willpower, great determination. So
For sure, and we
Yeah.
can definitely tell, whenever the tape is being played, we can tell that you put your 110% in, and we can tell that this is made for you, bro. It's made for you.
You're going places, man, for real. I think you're what I've seen on film, I think you have a bright future in football for real, man, and I hope you do make it. And really love and appreciate you for doing this interview, man. It means a lot.
of course, I appreciate you guys having me on. He messaged me. I was like, I looked into it. I saw you were interviewing some 4-star from Georgia, and I was like, this guy wants to interview me. I don't have any offers. I don't have any stars yet. So I really appreciate the offer and the time you guys took to interview me.
For sure, it don't matter about stars, man. Stars are made on the field. So just you're also got a couple years before you have to make a decision on your collegiate career, and next year around this time you'll start probably seeing a lot of offers, and you'll I'll message you in 1 year from now, and I'll say, see, I told you. Whenever I see that first offer come up, and I'll say, I told you so. But yeah, you're really talented, and I'm really glad that we were able to do this interview. And so, with that being said, if you like this content, please smash the thumbs up. And if you really like this content, hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers.